Alright, hello gamers, welcome back to the show. I'm your charming self-proclaimed yet still humble host, Mukluk, and today we are back in Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I'm picking up where we left off last time, and gonna continue the story from here. Last time we had a huge fight in this area. Let's see, Hardened Shield. 22% shield block chance, 1% deflection, 8% parry. 22% shield block chance. So lower block chance, but it has 8% parry on it. Don't know if that's worthwhile to me. Alright, grab that. Looks like there's a box under here to get. Hey, Ark, what's up? What the freaking? Hi, Darby. Get confused by the intro, I guess. Radiant Shield, 25% block. Whenever the wielder blocks an attack, the attacker must make an agility resistance test or become blinded for 1 round. Okay. Grab that. Pascal, pick the lock on this.
My success is
Cargo.
irrefutable certainty.
See, seeing people of such noble blood is the highest blessing. That's a dirty fountain.
Patience.
Ark, thank you for the
My
prime.
man's
Appreciate that.
afraid.
It's so strange seeing someone you know from one game suddenly playing another game you also enjoy. What's up, Ghost? Gara. Governor Rualdo. The governor's hand reaches for the amasec, but flinches under your gaze and abruptly changes trajectory towards the appetizers. Today is a very nervous day, Your Celestial Highness. And when I feel nervous, I eat, and drink, and eat again. That's just the way I am. But Emperor have mercy, the food today is to die for. Would you like to have some? I recommend you try the fried alcadont, whose horns were still goring my hunters just the other day. And here we have some 5-tailed shrimpariuses and stewed black eye sauce. These fellows need to be eaten quickly before they scurry off the plate. As for the side dishes, you simply must have a taste of the crispy blabbered shells seasoned with blue glut. This spice scorches your tongue, but follow with some amasec and it will feel like the waters of life itself. Carouse. Defeat the blabbered shells seasoned with blue glut. Why is that carouse? You pop a fried blabbered shell into your mouth, first one, then another, then another. The blue glut stings your tongue and throat, but Mukluk von Valancius is made of sterner stuff than all these milksops. Eventually, you crush the last blabbered between your jaws before wiping a napkin over your chin and tossing it victoriously off the table. You've gained the Guts of Iron effect. You've managed to keep a stony face while downing an entire dish of hot blabberids, a show of steel-hot composure. Increases character's intelligence and willpower in the next combat. This is a one-time bonus that disappears after the combat ends. Oh, okay. We got some XP at least. Let's see. Will says, hey Muck, we just started co-op run yesterday with a friend. We did so on normal difficulty. For a duo who have finished Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode, do you think we'll be okay, or is it going to feel like a snooze fest? I have never played this on multiplayer. I didn't even know this had multiplayer. I don't know. So I would say that the main thing that comes to mind is like what I'm doing right now is there's a lot of parts where you read and it's not voice acted, right? If you guys are fine with that, then I think you'd be fine. Tomorrow I start my full-time job, unfortunately, because time zones only be able to watch your streams on the weekends and miss out on Gilbert's 2 streams, word funny moments. Oh, I'm sorry, Claire. If you're interested in the VODs, there is always the VODs. Incredible, but how? How did you accomplish it? My fellow revelers, let us raise our cups to the unbreakable strength of the God Emperor's emissary. The entire Thessari nobility lift their golden goblets in your honor. Athletics, attack the giant alcadont ham. 85%. Success. You sink your teeth into the greasy morsel and deftly nibble it to the bone in front of the entire court, who watches you with morbid fascination. Carnivore to the core. Strength and toughness increased in next combat. Magnificent! Not even the rock serpentid that recently ate our cobbler could match you. Unlike your Celestial Highness, it spent 5 entire suns chewing through him. The governor toasts you excitedly. 0% on the next one. Now that we've had some refreshments, let us talk. Verily, your Celestial Highness. He reaches his ring-studded hand for the goblet, but stops at the sound of Maev's voice. My lord, remember what the physician told you. Temperance is the best cure for your ailments. I fear you have disobeyed his wishes again today. And now I am paying for it with a compromised sense of balance and a regrettable inability to admire the disguised imposters. And the hunt is already in full swing. Solomon leaves over to you. Rogue Trader, once you've had your fill of the governor, let me ask him a few questions. What is this hunt you mentioned? Roaldo waves a hand at Maev. Be a darling and tell our guests about the amusements. I am a little exhausted. Will says, okay, the reading is really not a problem. Let's hope the combat part will be good too. I enjoy it. It's certainly not the same as Baldur's Gate 3, but I do find it very engaging. Brovalone, welcome back, dude. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. 84 months. Jay Revis says I'm a newbie here. No English. What's up, Revis? Welcome. Of course, my lord. The imposter hunt takes place every moonlife. Shortly before the event, the servants are thoroughly cleansed of dirt and foulness, combed, dressed in expensive clothing and masks, and invited into the courtyard with the rest of the guests. The nobles hide their faces as well, and then they try to guess who the imposters are. Telling one from the other is quite a challenge sometimes. The governor suddenly perks up again, and that is the best part. I highly recommend you try it, your highness. It makes for a very interesting change of pace. On this occasion, the privilege of branding, if you will, falls entirely to you, our honored celestial guests. Suppose I found all the imposters. What happens next? Maev produces a shimmering slate featuring a string of fine inscriptions. This is a data brand, one of our off-world treasures. We handle it with the greatest care, and yet all of Thessira's jewels and miracles cannot compare to the resplendence of your glory, my celestial lord. When you find an imposter, you need only mark them with this wondrous brand. Analyzing. This brand is the property of the Edex Venteris food factory. It was used to mark the meat of high-protein specimens on the planet's fauna. The inscription in Proto-Gothic translates to Grox on corpse feed. At the end of the hunt, we hold a great feast. If you guess at least one of the imposters, you also win a fine prize. If you guess all 4, there will be an even more special reward. I remember at one of the hunts, a servant played the role of a baron so well that all the lords unanimously granted him favor and let him keep the title and privileges of the nobility. Such a thing rarely happens, but who knows what the evening will bring for tonight. It is you who will determine the worthy, my celestial lord. Himok, how to buy Guild Wars 2 with your code? Yes, that's the code right there in the chat. Thank you, Seth. You just click that link and then click on whatever you want to buy. And as long as you don't have something blocking cookies, that's all there is to it. And thank you. Solomon, did you just admit that there is masquerading rabble among the Thessarian nobles? Illiterate with no idea how to collect tithes, or by the throne that actually explains so much. The proctor scoffs and glances at the enthusiastic guests. Go ahead, Governor. Commence your charade. The sooner we start, the sooner we finish. The Governor lets out an audible gulp. It shall be done, Master Judicator. How does one find an imposter in the crowd? By the way they talk, by their lack of restraint, the unfamiliar delicacies overwhelm them so much they lose control. Imposters are often scared of the responsibility that has fallen on their weak shoulders, and they try to stay close to the real nobles and imitate their rarefied manners. During the hunt, it is most worthwhile to pay attention to separate groups where conversation has already started. A frightened imposter will probably try to hide behind other people's backs. That's all I know, Celestial Lord. Let the orchestra be silent. Of course, of course. Stop the music. His Celestial Highness wishes silence. The half-mechanized orchestra creaks to a halt, staring straight ahead with unseeing eyes. I will participate in the hunt. Marvelous. As soon as you're done with your search, I will be... The governor attempts to rise from the table, but gravity proves to be his superior. Data brand. This brand leaves an almost invisible holographic mark on anyone it touches. It contains 4 charges. Perhaps you should stay here, my lord? Maeve's gaze is full of genuine concern. I feel you may be right, Maev. I will be waiting here, surrounded by savory dishes and plentiful amasak. Have a fruitful hunt, your celestial highness. Maev, bring me a cup of amasak and make sure it's filled to the brim. Comes an unexpected order from Solomon. It will be done, my lord judicator. Solomon waits until Maev is some distance away, then turns to you. I wanted to talk to you without the observer they have attached to us overhearing. He casts a sweeping glance around the courtyard and lowers his voice. Do you get the sense that what is happening raises questions that lack coherent answers? I am uneasy as well, on account of certain unusual circumstances. Which ones in particular? The governor barely manages to stay in his saddle, which is odd for a local nobleman. Not too odd considering Rualdo's ravenous fondness for food in Amasek, but an astute observation nonetheless. Remember the last mutant from the public execution? Something was off about him, and it wasn't just a physical deformity. Yes, mutation is a corruption that seldom leaves a person with a sound mind, but what the madman spouted on the scaffold and what he had done to himself was beyond the pale. The local beliefs. What is this tripe about altering your destiny? The God Emperor alone knows how many different cults of him there are. No two planets worship him in quite the same way, but only a heretic would wax poetic about altering a fate that was ordained by the Emperor once and for all. Totally missed this part during my playthrough. This is part of the newest DLC. Have you seen the writings of the madman Fault? The Chronicles of Fates? It is a lunacy bordering on heresy. Not bordering, they are heresy writ large. But that is not what troubles me. What troubles me is that the madman succeeded in publishing them. The fact that there was a mutant attack during a public execution with no clear or evident cause. The attack is unlikely to have been planned. It looked too messy, shall we say. On the other hand, perhaps that's the best this backwater planet can do when it comes to plotting and scheming. I do not like the way the governor is using every means possible to stall our inquiry into the tithe. Indeed. At first, one could mistake it for sycophancy and an attempt to appease the celestial guest, but the longer it goes on, the more apparent the criminal intent behind the stalling of the inevitable becomes. What is your conclusion? I have a theory, but I would like you to hear yours first, lest my opinions influence your reasoning. Looking at my options. The tithe is a ruse. The governor is fully aware that with every hour that passes without him providing a report, his sentence only becomes more severe, which means he is not even trying to account for the shortage. I suspect that there is some goal he is pursuing in trying to keep us here on Thessara. Solomorn chuckles. Expertly noted. It somehow slipped my mind that you collected tributes from just as many worlds as I have in your time. I do not have a strong hypothesis for why the governor is stalling us, but I would like to propose a plan. Let's not give away the fact that we're aware of his ploy and wait for an opportune moment to strike. We do not know the territory, so we should act suddenly and take no chances. Now let's decide on a signal that we will use when the time is right. Okay. When I say lovely weather, we attack. Understood. I gotta be careful not to say that at the wrong moment. Oh man, nice weather we're having. Oh god, Solomon, stop shooting. Roll for initiative. Maev returns, taking quick, careful steps along the paved road, a brimming goblet in her hands. Your Amasek, my lord. I haven't spilt a drop. Without a word, the arbitrator hurls the drink on the pavement. The splash of Amasek is like a scarlet wound upon the stone that has been polished by 1,000 souls. He just throws it on the ground right in front of her? Oh my god. Let's see.
In this tapestry of a world, I
fix the lifter, tech use. Wait, what? I just got a Steam achievement for you've found all the evidence to expose the conspiracy. Armor of Iron Will. Whenever the character blocks the attack, all just creatures have to give 1 stack of perplex. Okay. Alright, what's down the elevator that Steam is barking about? Editka? The young noblewoman's hair is disheveled, her bodice stained with grime, and her mask pushed clumsily on top of her head. Holding her skirt high, she is trying her hardest to fight her way through the guards blocking the door. Just let me go, please, for throne's sake, she exclaims, when the guards yet again push her aside. The woman notices you and attempts something resembling a curtsy, but stumbles and falls to her knees. I'm done. I just can't take it anymore. You're our celestial lord, aren't you? Yes, I am, but you do not look much like a noble lady. I'm Aditka, your graciousness. I'm not a noble, not one bit. I just do the laundry and bleach the linens. I've never mixed in high society in my life. Forgive a fool, your graciousness. Why are you participating in the masquerade in the first place? It's not like they asked me nicely, your graciousness. They grabbed me, shoved me in this dress, and threw me in here. Nobody here was asked, but I don't want to be anybody's toy. I have 3 boys and a girl. We starch our lords and ladies' undergarments, and we work our fingers to the bone just to get enough scraps for the day. She shows you her calloused hands, mottled red from chemical burns. Why are you telling me this? According to the rules, you're meant to pose as a noble and then you get a reward. But I don't want no reward, my lord. I want to go back home. The woman hangs her head and clutches her lace frills on her dress. Her breathing stutters as she is racked with silent sobs. Why are you trying to escape? I want to get away before they start putting those brands on us. For the tricksters. I'm no kind of trickster, can't you see? I couldn't fool a Grox. So what should I do with you? Gripping the frills of her fabulous dress in her coarse, white-knuckled hands, the woman looks up at you. Please, your graciousness. By the God Emperor, just let me leave. Nobody who gets put in one of these get-ups ever comes back. If I stay, I won't see my home again. I just know it. I haven't done anything wrong. No one ever comes back. What is that supposed to mean? Just that, your graciousness. It doesn't matter if you get branded or not. Once the hunt is over, you're gone. This place is like a Grox pit. There's no way back, but I want to live. I want to be useful. Please, please let me go home. Alright, because she showed me her calloused hands, I believe her. Without that, I would be, like, more suspicious right now than I am. You really don't look like an imposter at all. Guards, let her go. Lacking the courage to object to your demand, the guards reluctantly step aside. As the woman turns to look back at you, you see wet trails on her guileless face. Thank you, Celestial Lord. You sweetheart. I'll never forget your kindness. She bows low and vanishes into the darkness. Okay. So people go missing.
My success is
Cargo.
irrefutable certainty.
Night guy.
There will be no peace in my wake.
Okay. Alright, save. Let's see. Man with scissors. In the wavering torchlight, you see a glint of steel. One of the jacket-clad young men is pressing a blade against the other's ribs. A mask lies discarded at the attacker's feet. Noticing you, the trembling victim cries out, "Your Highness, save me!" Do not interfere, outsider. This man deserves to be punished along with all of Thessera's rotten elite. They see people as just things to be worn. Let him look me in the eye and find out what it feels like to be cut to pieces. You realize that the weapon pressed against the victim's body is none other than a pair of expertly sharpened tailor scissors. Solomon casts an indifferent glance at the pair. Local folk and their strange amusements. Not worth our time. I'll take the athletics check because it gives us experience. Intervene and free the victim. Just punch him in the face. You capture the scissors and deftly plunge them into the attacker's knee. Sensing his tormentor's grip weakening, the victim slips free and hides behind you. The madman bribed the guards so that they would ignore my cries. I'm sure they'll be singing a different tune when they find out the Celestial Lord had to intervene personally. Tell me about Thessera's rotten elite. They're parasites. They'll tear whoever they want into pieces. These scum squeeze into a person's skin like it's a suit that's 2 sizes too small, splitting the seams in the process. The vigilante stares at you without blinking, his eyes glassy. Skin suits and splitting seams? Preposterous. Your brother was rewarded for his talents with the best assignment he could hope for. Maybe he just decided he wanted nothing to do with you anymore. The nobleman's voice cracks. He's on the verge of tears. Your Highness, if such were your will, you could send servants to the dressmaker this very moment and find this man's brother alive and well. His words are soaked with gray, his flashes of copper desperation breaking through. But of the swampy muck of deceit, I see nothing. Tell me about this valet. The nobleman eyes his attacker fearfully. It's very simple, your celestial highness. His younger brother has a way with clothes. I noticed him when I was looking for new servants, and I sent the boy to apprentice under a renowned dressmaker in the upper quarters. I thought I would make him my valet, you see. But then this fool decided that I took his brother, not because of his talent, but to use him for my rejuvenation. Why would I even need a new face? I haven't even worn out my own yet. I can put the imposter's brand on one of them? Ah, this is weird. So the tailor was trying to stab a noble because he says that his younger brother's been kidnapped. The other one is saying, no, he's working in the upper quarters. But it doesn't really give me an option to fact check this. Alright, for now I'm just gonna say both of you get lost. Off with you, Taylor. Ensure I never set eyes on you again. But your highness, you can wriggle, you can run, you can cower behind others' backs, but there is no hiding from justice. It will pierce you right through like a needle. Just give it time. Okay. The second imposter has been found.
What ails you?
They will see.
Old priest.
Oh,
Young
yes,
priest.
Indeed.
The two men in
They
clergy
all
robes are bickering
will
loudly.
see.
The older of the pair is eating with a great appetite, while the younger one watches him in disgust. Your overindulgence is pure hypocrisy. A true servant of the faith would have abstained. Hey, Lemon, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. The old priest shoots his companion a glance over the plate. A true servant of the faith must keep his strength up, so that he may offer the God Emperor not just words, but deeds as well. The young man flushes when he notices your gaze. Celestial Lord, how fortunate is your arrival. Only you can solve this conundrum and decide which of us is the true clergyman of noble birth, and which one is the arrogant imposter. Dude, what is this perception check? Why is it so low? Oh, success. You notice a marked difference between the builds of the quarreling men. The older priest's body is gaunt, unlike that of the smooth-faced youth. Also, the younger priest has the melodious voice of a singer, while the old man's speech is clear and powerful. The older priest's body is gaunt. The one peeking out is gaunt? The younger priest has the melodious voice of a singer. I need to ask you a few questions first in order to identify the imposter. The old priest gives you a reserved nod. The younger one turns his entire body to face you like a student being evaluated. What would you say is the role of knowledge in the Imperium? There are no barriers to learning the word of the Emperor and to conquering all that he has given unto us. Have you read the manuscripts of our scribe, Gregorius Fault? No barrier. Yeah, no, that's not it. I fear he has left his craft behind now, but his research shines on us the light of true worship. Yeah, it's heresy. Knowledge depraves the soul, as does reading letters that are not meant to be read. The old man furrows his brow at the young man's passionate words. Cassia shakes her head. Their judgments are like the two sides of a single coin. There's value in both, but neither one constitutes the whole. What awaits the Emperor's servants after death? Both priests ponder the question for a while. The older one is the first to speak up. Should they serve faithfully, the Emperor will preserve their soul in his halls. The young priest gives you a broad and sincere smile. It is customary on Thesara to believe in sacred reincarnation. Thus, the worthy may serve the Emperor for all eternity. This fool says he yearns for everlasting service. He does not hear the Undying One laughing quietly at his words. It is not this man's destiny to serve him for eternity. It is to leave meekly when he whispers it is time. Lore Imperium test failed. Judging by the expressions of the two debating priests, you can easily believe that one would indeed welcome his long-awaited rest and the other a chance to eternal service. By what name are the warriors born from the blood of the Emperor's sons known? The heralds of the celestial maker, gods among men. The younger preacher's eyes are alight with awe. The Emperor's angels, they descend upon the land to smite down his enemies. You see respect in the old man's eyes and fears. Alright, so the old man has the accurate information. But there's so much that's wrong on this planet. I don't know if that means that he is the local priest here. I am ready to pass my verdict. The priests look at you with reserved curiosity and apprehension. Place the imposter's brand on the young priest. The smile vanishes from the young man's face. He gasps indignantly. Why? Well, yes, I did skip the lectorium once or twice, it's true, but I'm still a proper noble. I swear it on my honor. So I had to brand one of them. Unless I had just avoided that conversation entirely.
In my veins.
There's a bag of loot here. Send that to cargo. Lady in golden mask. A few nobles have gathered around an older man in a fine jacket. His eyes dart back and forth between them. I come from an honored dynasty. You can't... He keeps trying to approach someone, but they all recoil from him as if he were a leper. The mob's instigator, a lady in a golden mask, exclaims furiously, "Oh, listen to the songs of this poor wretch. He thinks that the bath they gave him makes him look like a nobleman." Upon noticing you, the crowd parts. In a peevish voice, the woman drawls, "We ask that our celestial lord brand this peasant." Among the hushed crowd, you single out a young woman in a half mask and a gorgeous dress who is watching intently from the side. Do you truly believe this man to be a commoner in disguise? The loudest among the onlookers exchange glances. The woman's golden mask bobs as if she offers a deep curtsy. Most certainly, your celestial highness. His plebeian nature is apparent to every self-respecting aristocrat. The woman is not lying, but neither is she being completely candid. The way she looks at the accused speaks of an old, appeasable hatred, the kind one shows to one's true enemy. Explain to me exactly what is going on here. The lady in the golden mask curtsies gracefully. Your celestial highness, we have exposed one of the imposters. There he is, the one in the jacket still clinging to his facade. You ought to brand him quickly. The woman who has been keeping her distance now steps closer and whispers to you. My celestial lord, I'm begging you to listen to me. This man is a member of a noble family. He's being slandered. Perception. Look closely at the man. The old man is terrified. His hands are clutching an expensive cane bearing an intricate family coat of arms. Persuasion. Address the young woman. Why are you standing up for him? She whispers quietly. I'm just a commoner in a fancy dress, my lord. This man is my master. I know I'm supposed to be playing the part of a rich girl, but I've served many lords, you see, and Sir Timius is the only one who treats his servants with gentleness. I want to protect him from these cruel people. Address the man. What can you say in your defense? My celestial lord knows how ruthless court intrigues can be. My family only recently attained its lofty status, and many here are opposed. He stutters, his teeth chattering in fear. Turn to the crowd. Their vulturous gazes shift to you in anticipation of your verdict. This man is a noble. Why are you so intent on painting him as otherwise? The lady in the golden mask clears her throat. There is not a word of a lie in what we have said. This travesty of a nobleman was granted his privileges less than 100 years ago. A family of upstarts who have elevated themselves through pedalry. For any true-born noble, he is no different from a masquerading peasant. I am ready to brand the imposter. The nobles around you hold their breath as they try to read the direction of your gaze. I think it would be funnier to brand the lady in the golden mask that's pointing fingers at everybody. I'm gonna do it. Place the data brand on the woman in the golden mask. The noble gasps and the woman stamps her feet and starts flailing her arms. How dare you! I am a descendant of a noble line. I will complain to the governor about this. You hear a few laughs. The people gathered here seem to appreciate the sheer absurdity of anyone trying to threaten you with such a complaint.
One
All right.
step at a time amidst the madness.
Bag of loot. So, let's see. There was the tailor we let go. We branded the wrong person just to insult someone. The thing with the young priest. Who was the other one? Oh, and then the other servant that we let go. So, we're not getting any prizes here. Down, Gara. Bad beast. Very bad. I apologize, your celestial highness. How is your imposter hunt going? Gara? My darling pet. She's guarding the Shrimpariuses. Every once in a while,